Good afternoon and welcome to Big River Academy.
Mm, ok. Buongiorno, mi chiamo Giuliano Cano e insegno italiano a Big River Academy. Uh, Hello, I am Giuliano Cano and I teach Italian at Big River Academy. One question people might ask, why learning Italian is so useful. Well, there is many ways that you can use Italian. But first of all, let me introduce myself to you. I've been teaching Italian for over 25 years, and I was born actually in a town of Milano, which is in northern Italy, and it's a big city, like probably like New York. I went to school over there, and I came to America to improve my English, and I guess by now I must have improved because I've been here for 47 years. I study both in Italy and the United States, and as you can see, I acquired a BA in Italian and then a master degree in Italian study and also international study because I'm very much interested in the European culture, but other cultures are of interest to me too. Uh, this is a picture of the town where I come from. As you can see, there's a big cathedral over there. It's one of the third biggest Gothic cathedral in the world. And just to tell you how much history is in my countries, this cathedral was begun in 11th century and was finished actually in 1968. Uh, okay. Um, my interest in school, homeschool, is not only because I love my language, but also because I have 6 grandchildren and I want them to have love and for not only my language but for the rest of the language, because languages is the idea of every nation and country. It's our soul. Okay. Where is Italian spoken? Italian is spoken only in Italy, but also spoken in the Canton Ticino in Switzerland, in South America, especially in Argentina, although the Italian sometimes is mixed up with the Spanish, and it's called Lumbago. I don't know if you knew that. And also is official language in Croatia and in Slovenia, which are, well, Slovenia is our neighbor, but Croatia is very close to the border of Italy, but not quite touching it because we have a sea that separates us. How Italian has become Italian official language of Italy? There's a long story. Actually, we have 44 different dialects, which are not slang, but they come from Latin, so are considered languages. And then we have 13 um, non-Italian languages, which includes French, two types of French. We have three different types of German. We have Slovenian, we have Croatian, we have Albanian, and we also have some Arab in Sicily. Now, why Italian became the official language? Not only because we have Dante Alighieri who wrote the Divine Comedy, but because in 1861 Italy became a country, we needed an army, and all these people spoke different languages, so the only way to communicate is to enforce one language, which is Italian. But today we have more freedom of choice in speaking our dialects because of they're being recognized from the European Union, because these dialects not only have their own alphabet, but they have their own literature and their own dictionary, and they're taught also in schools. The next one I wanted to show you is how Italian is the closest language to Latin. Latin is the father language of Italian, and as you see, a lot of words that you see in here come from Latin, but also used in English American language, because 60% of English come from Latin. I tell that to my students both at the academy and also at the university. And I say, you already know Italian because you're using a lot of these words that you see here. For example, calculator, uh, chaos, quota, idea, insomnia, persona, visa, and panorama, facile, cactus, dilemma, diploma, and people, they're very surprised, the students, when they hear that. Oh, I know that. And many times when I show them something written in Italian, I say, I'm not going to tell you the meaning, but look at the words as a word, not like a picture. But think about, is something there that you see that you know from English? And a lot of kids, they say, oh yeah. So that's how I try to have an interest in my language. Another thing is that there's lots of similarity. For example, when you spelling, when in English you have words like fact, in Italian instead of the CT we use a T. For example, fatto, yeah, piatto, atto. So you have an act in English. Intatto will be intact in English, and then the S become an X. X in English, for example, espressione is expression, exam, exact. So exclusion, and then we have the F, for example, telefono in English becomes to be a PH, telephone, photo, pharmacist. Yes, it does. That's what I do a lot when I play word games with my husband. I'm always beating him and my daughter-in-law, who's an English major, because I know my Latin, my Italian, that helps me a lot. And I love to see different words. And also look at nation, nazione. So the T becomes a Z, and the NS in English become S. So nation, creation, station, information. Look at transformation, transfusion, transmission, transparent, construction, instruction. So see what I wrote in here in Italian, come vedete, è facile come un bicchiere d'acqua. It's as easy as a glass of water. Also, Italy is the place where in the 16th century we started using opera as entertainment for the people, because before, in ancient time, people didn't have a TV or theater, but opera was actually started, and the first opera was sung for a wedding between an Italian princess and a king of France. Okay, so you have a lots of foreign composer who wrote for in Italian, and also of course we have a lot of Italian composer, among them Verdi, Donizetti, and Bellini. There's a lots of use in music as far as piano, trio, quartetto, alto, basso, allegro, lento. These are all words used in the opera. No, actually, I used to teach at the University of School of Music. It's a university for music, future opera singer. You don't only have to learn Italian, but also German and French. So it's, by Italian is primary language for opera. Yes. And also, lots of words are used in medicine. In fact, my son, my oldest son, took pre-medical studies, and he said, oh, I know them. So in medicine, you have syringe, nose, face, muscle, femur. And he said, oh, these are used, I know them. And also they have words in Italian that are derived from Italian, like in architecture. You say architecture, we say architettura. You say apartment, we say appartamento. Porta, we say portale, atrium, you know that, vestibule, and column. So there are lots of views. Also, in law studies, if you think about when you go to a tort lawyer, tort is in Italian, actually translation is torto. Torto means to be wrong. So when you go to a tort lawyer, you know something that makes you think about something is wrong and I have to fix it. Yes, lots of Italian words are used for food, but we have a lot of ways to describe them. And I like this funny because they say, now that's Italian for pizza. But if you look antipasto, contorni, you know, there's a lots of words and people recognize them because they go to a restaurant, you know, and they get all excited, Italian food. Unfortunately, in America, you get the American Italian foods. There are some things that are slightly different. when you see certain dishes. So we don't serve them in Italy, but they have them here because some Italian came up with these ideas. Now, also we know the Italian is has lots of influence in a culture and music, designs, fashion. So this is all the pictures, some of the most important Italian. I cannot put all of them because I would be filling up walls and everything, but you can recognize some people like Leonardo da Vinci, Marco Polo, Machiavelli, and Galileo, and Cardin, which is a fashion designer. Actually, he's not French, he's uh, from Padua, his family. Palladio, you have Palladio masterpiece. The White House, it's actually design taken from Palladio, which was a famous Italian architect from the town of Padua. And then we have, let me see here, I'm trying, and then I don't know what happened to this picture. It was like a round thing, it's come out weird. But anyway, I don't know what happened. But anyway, what was picture was gonna say is that Italy is nominated from the UNESCO, which is preserve all the antiquity, as #1 country because we have the most antiquity and the most major site for to protect for humanity. So that's UNESCO, and I don't know what happened to the slide. It's a little bit weird. And also here we have some words in Italian, for example, perché studi l'italiano, l'alfabeto, che ore sono, and then you have rosso, bianco, verde. I colori. Usually I have the kids the first day read some Italian words because I know some of them, they recognize it. And then here we have a picture of Portofino, which is in Liguria. And of course, this is information. I'm teaching Italian, O-level Italian, Italian 1, 2, and 3. Conversation Italian is more for people to learn how to converse, but also is it's type of intermediate Italian because as you learn to speak and to read, and you also review some of the grammar that you usually would do because you forget some things. And of course, if you want to contact me, I have my email, my name, and my phone number. If you have any question, I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. Any question? But as I said, oh yes, definitely. You cannot take a conversation unless you have it's like going in high school before you went to grammar school. Yes, because a lot of people, I found even among my college students, they study Italian in high school and then they come back after 3 or 4 years and they forgot everything from the beginning, and so they don't know how to do conversation. It's like an intermediate. Yes, it's like a level 4, but it's more conversation, and it's also open for people who are not really there to learn to get a good grade, but also they want to practice conversation, which is good practice. Because like I studied English for 12 years, but I didn't have much conversation. They should at least spend an hour every day to study the language because it's a lot. There is more memorization. So it's at least an hour. I tell them every day, don't do your homework all at once, but take one exercise every day. You do that. You study your vocab. Don't do it all at once. 1 hour each day or less, depend on what I tell them. Yeah, you need a lot of memorization. Yeah, space out. Otherwise, they get tired and they lose their interest. So, a person will become more interested if there is something that they are looking forward. They're like a trip to Italy. I had a student who went to a trip in Sicily. He wasn't doing too well before. He came back, was all excited. He wanted to know everything about Italy. And his Italian um, improvement was amazing. They can read to each other. Yes, I have them read some stories. Yes, and then I try to make them speak and tell me what they understand. And sometimes they're quiet, like they're afraid. And I tell them, "You're not." I tease them. I say, "You're not at the dentist." And it's okay to make a mistake because you are in kindergarten. And in kindergarten, it's like riding a bicycle. You have to learn to fall and then get up. And as I say, it's important to talk. Very important. Yes, they do. Because I make them read, and when they read, I let them read even if they make a mistake. And then I go back and I tell them, can you repeat this word? Because the pronunciation is very, very important. For example, they might say the word in the wrong way. For example, I had a young man in college. He said he couldn't wait to go to Italy to visit the bar because the bar are like Starbucks. They're not like your regular bar, but instead of writing bar like you write it in English and it's the same spelling in Italian, he said bare. I can't, non vedo l'ora, no, non vedo l'ora di andare al bare. And of course I laughed because bare means casket. That's where you place the dead people inside. And I told him, you don't want that. Oh yeah, yeah. I should write a book about misspelling, mispronunciation. So I kind of emphasize them. You have to repeat, and then so many times. Sometimes when the word is very long, I try to divide it to show them how to. For example, a word like transformazione. So I teach them. It's long word. So trasformazione. So, of course, it look like I missed some words in there, but I divided in groups so it makes it easy for them to pronounce. And then I said, after you repeat a couple of times, you can say all at once, trasformazione. This is just an example for long words. Any other question? It is interesting to see how I have a 9-year-old boy that is learning Italian. He's amazing. Any question? Mm.
We'll see if Elizabeth and Lucy have any questions, and then we'll close out.
Before we close out, I wanted to, yes, it's very important. I wanted to let you know also that in my classes, I teach them some Italian history and geography because it's very important to know that. Oh, and Lucy, you have a question? Oh,
I don't think so. Thank you so much, Mrs. O'Connell. We appreciate you
thank
taking your
you.
time to introduce yourself.
Thank you. God bless
Yes,
you all.
thank you guys. Ciao.
Ciao, arrivederci.